Hey YouTube, it's your girl Stacy back again with another video, and if you're new here, welcome to my channel. I hope you enjoy this content. Let's get started with this video. Okay, to start you will need about a handful of Scotch bonnet peppers and some pink Himalayan salts. This is what I use for my recipe. I was told that the coarser the salt, the better for when you're grinding it together. It's always best to wear gloves when handling peppers. I'm used to it, so it is what it is. Now you're gonna split those Scotch bonnets in half. You're gonna place them on a baking tray, and then you will put them inside of a preheated oven set at 250 degrees. Now you don't want it too high because you don't want it to cook. Basically what you're trying to do is to dehydrate them. This does take a bit of time. It took me about 3 hours to get them to become dry. This is the hour-and-a-half mark where I went in and I flipped them over so that each side can dehydrate. After 3 hours or so, this is what it's like. They're dried out, they're crispy and crunchy and ready to set into the grinder. You want to make sure that these stay in your oven for as long as possible because you don't want them to have any mushy bits attached to it. So once it's at this level, you're good to go. And depending on your oven, you may need to let it stay a bit longer. Keep checking in on them. And again, know that this recipe does take a bit of patience. So in the end, it's worth it. I'm going to go ahead with 2 cups of salt. Now I start by adding 1 cup first, then I add the Scotch bonnet peppers, and then I go ahead and add the other cup of salt to this blender. Once everything has been added, you can go ahead and top it off with your lid to make sure that none of that dust or the dust particles are flying everywhere because it is spicy, spicy. Oh God, it's spicy, man. So you're going to go ahead and pulse it. I pulsed it and then I used the ice chopper setting. I went back and forth between those just to make sure that I can get it nice and nicely grind up. Now, I didn't want it to be fine salt, but I also didn't want it to remain too coarse. So I just kept pulsing until it was at the consistency that I liked it for it to be. And you're just going to keep going until it reaches that consistency. Look at it. It's coming together nicely. This is a better view from the inside. I did take the top off just so that you guys can see. This process I don't have a specific time as to how long it takes in general. It honestly depends on how coarse you want your salt, coarse or fine you want your salt to be. So for me, it took about 15 minutes because I wasn't too sure, and I had to go in there with a spoon to jiggle around whatever was getting stuck at the bottom of the blender. But that's just blender mechanics. It was just like, what is happening? We're not adding any liquid to us. What's going on? So I just let it do its thing. And when it reached the right consistency, then I stopped and I proceeded with putting it into a recycled Old Spice jar that I had. And here you go. To be very honest with you, the longest process was dehydrating the Scotch bonnet peppers. I may or may not invest in one of those dehydrating machines that I've seen, but I feel like I'm not going to be making as much as these salts. You can do this recipe with the oven just fine. It just takes a lot of time, and you must keep the windows open because when I tell you, oh God, I was wondering why my face was feeling hot. It's the peppers in the oven. So I had to open the windows. Mind you, it was my first time and I believe that I achieved it, and I'm so happy. You can also do this with jalapeno peppers, green onions, pineapples, whatever it is that you feel that you want to dehydrate and make a salt out of to add more flavor to your food. By all means, go ahead and try this simple recipe. Okay, I say simple in that it is easy to put together, but not so simple in the dehydration process. But you catch my drift. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you to my new subscribers. I really appreciate y'all. And remember, God is good all the time, and all the time, God is so good, y'all. Have a wonderful day.